Jason Karp, Esquire, here at your service from the Public Safety Network, bringing you the PSN NOD, the public safety news of the day. Here to give you the best and the most relevant technology and other news affecting public safety in 3 minutes or less, or maybe 4 minutes, or sometimes 5 minutes, but I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet to the point so you can get back to what you're doing and save some lives. So let's get into it. I got one word for you. It's not really one word, but I got one thing to say. $1.1 billion. I'll give you 3 guesses. I won't count the first 2. That's right. That is the purchase price that Ericsson paid for Cradlepoint, Cradlepoint, the router provider, the WAN edge provider that significantly provides services to public safety today with many of their routers, which are FirstNet certified in many cases. So this is pretty outstanding. That's a lot of moolah for this acquisition. So Ericsson obviously sees a lot of upside and benefit to the edge and wide area networking that Cradlepoint brings to the table. According to Ericsson, they're really looking to expand not only their mobile wireless portfolio, but also wide area networking, wireless networking into the enterprise space now, as well as some of the fixed wireless connectivity options like vending machines, ATMs, that kind of stuff. Those apparently are the 3 goals. Ericsson's planning to take Cradlepoint global. Right now, Cradlepoint is mostly in the US with some presence in the UK and Australia. They currently have a relationship, I think, with about 10 different carriers. Ericsson, which builds radio access network for these same carriers, has relationships with 400 carriers globally. So you can see how the expansion may take hold. The other thing, Ericsson obviously is doing a lot of work and a lot of expansion in 5G and in mission critical push to talk. So clearly some synergies here. I think they're very excited about this acquisition. Obviously you can tell that from the price point that they paid, that this is a value to public safety and beyond. So big story. This was announced last week. They expect the deal to close by the end of the year. But from what I understand, it won't be fully integrated. It may still be called Cradlepoint. We'll have to wait and see. But I think they're going to continue to operate out of their headquarters in the United States. So there may not be huge changes for those who are dealing with Cradlepoint today. We'll have to wait and see. But very exciting stuff on the technology front, on the corporate transactions front. Never ceases to amaze me, the partnerships and the strategic moves that are being made by companies to get advantage in this space. It's all about the bandwidth. All about the bandwidth. What I say it's all about the bandwidth. Say it with me. It's all about the bandwidth. Rock and roll. What else is going on? The California chief is building and is working towards a global or certainly domestic satellite network to start predicting firefighting forest fires. Let's try that again. Predicting wildfires, especially in the Western United States. So today, satellite technology to a large extent is used to determine the boundaries of existing fires that are known about. But now what Dave Winokur, the chief of the Moraga Orinda Fire District in the Bay Area, what he wants to do is he's looking at partnering with folks to build artificial intelligence and to use low Earth orbit satellites, LEOs, which there are some in orbit now, but there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of more over time, thousands more potentially, that are going to blanket the Earth and allow for greater communication and connectivity in rural areas in particular, and to use them to predict or to at least highlight when fires begin at the outbreak so that firefighters can respond more quickly. You can also embed in this technology different sensors so that given where a given fire starts, it can create alerts, it could set off sprinkler systems, it really is unlimited in the types of things that it could trigger from an IoT perspective to help prevent further damage. So this is super, super exciting stuff. Currently they don't have the satellite coverage yet. They're working on that, but they are working on ways to make the data operationalized for firefighters. So when they're driving down the road in their SUV at 50, 60 miles an hour towards a fire, or during fire rescue operations, they can use the data in a way that's going to be manageable and without a lot of effort. So really excited about this program, especially given the impacts of wildfires, and we're seeing the growing wildfire season and the impacts it's having on our country. So this is hugely needed, and hopefully something that we can see come to fruition sooner rather than later. So exciting stuff there. What else is going on? Let's talk a little bit about policing. We haven't talked about policing in a while. So survey shows, national survey shows, that actually Democrats and Republicans and most people generally are more aligned about not defunding the police. It's not about defunding the police. I've talked about this now multiple shows, but rather there's agreement that we need the policing function. We need it to be funded, but where folks differ is other priorities. And it's not even about necessarily shifting funds away, but how you use those funds. There's definitely agreement, pretty broadly about banning the use of chokeholds and similar types of aggressive actions in subduing suspects and keeping them in custody. But in terms of other priorities, that's where folks are differing, and certainly you see the two different platforms between the Trump campaign and the Biden campaign, and that's generally, I think, how you see things lining up around the country. But it's good, and this is what I predicted: is it's not about defunding; it's about taking away the policing function. It's about how do we prioritize the right funds for the right activities to make the police most successful they can be, and keep them in a swim lane that they're comfortable with, that they're experts in, so they can do their jobs most effectively to keep us all safe. So, good news. We'll obviously see how that transpires. We've got an election coming up, and of course that's going to have an impact on things depending on how it turns out in November. So keep your eyes open. The woman has been arrested on the Canadian-U.S. border who sent an envelope addressed to the White House filled with ricin. The agent, poisonous agent, that does really bad things to your nervous system and other stuff. So bad. So apparently sent this letter addressed to the White House. It was confirmed that it did contain ricin. She's been turned over to Customs and Border Patrol. They think that it was originally sent from Canada, but it was intercepted at a facility coming into the United States, and she has been arrested. So that's good news. What else is going on? The New York AG, the Attorney General, of course, Letitia James, made an announcement this weekend that they are going to expedite the release of body cam footage and related to cases where police are under investigation. So again, of course, we've talked about this and the controversy about how to use body camera footage and making it public, and there's different policies all across the country. Well, the New York AG's office is going to expedite and release this information, and they're going to release it separately. So separately from the police department itself. So it also will be limited to those cases that the AG's office actually is involved in which case they will release footage related to those cases, but not necessarily all cases where there's potential misconduct implicated. So again, very aggressive actions being taken in New York, a lot of controversy there. I know that Trump recently talked about, or I guess it was Attorney General Barr talked about potentially defunding New York and Portland and some other places and from federal funds, based on the violence that's going on in those areas. So a lot of controversy that's still brooding around that we're going to get our arms around, and different regulators and states are going to be imposing different restrictions in order to address, violence, both on the law enforcement side as well as on the protester side. So more to come on that. And finally, our good friends down in Harrisonburg, Virginia, their emergency communications, boom, 911, texting, yes, implemented. Another one bites the dust. You know how I feel about this, texting 911. Everybody should be doing it, boom, tomorrow. There's no doubt, plain and simple. Obviously, they want you to dial 911 where you can, but you can't. You can text 911 what's going on with the emergency and get dispatched. Love it. Love the tech. This is where we're going. This is the future. Has to happen. With that, I'm texting you. I'm out of here. Jason Cart from the Public Safety Network News of the Day. It has been a pleasure talking with you again. I'll see you next time. Peace.